All right, sweet. Flatline MMA podcast episode number 37. The boys are back. Special guest, everyone's favorite, Zachy Poo, coming in hot. Boys, let's talk some fights. UFC Vegas 4 last weekend. It had all the hype in the world, headlined by Dustin Poirier taking on Dan Hooker. Very important, very exciting lightweight belt. Co-main on this, Mike Perry versus Mickey Gall. It had all the likings to be a great card. I think what the UFC did good with this one is they did stack it a lot with this younger talent. So let's just freaking get right into this because this card was really good, man. So I think we can just start off. We had Kay Hansen taking on, I don't even know how to say her name, Jin Yu Frey. Kay Hansen, 20 years old, kind of, a ground specialist, getting the submission in the third round. I mean, 20 years old, pretty impressive. Ronda Rousey gave her a shout-out afterwards. This girl looks good, man. What did you guys think of kind of her performance? Because I think, obviously, being so young and being good at, like, that one craft, kind of reminds you of that Ronda Rousey type. But what do you think about her and her future in the UFC?
Yeah, she looked good. It just depends on what the UFC does with her. If they try to bring her up too fast, I think it'd be pretty bad. But, yeah, she looked good. She had a really nice transition right at the end. She was going, I think it was a triangle choke to the arm bar. She was moving around pretty good. To get a finish in your first fight in the UFC, looks pretty good.
Yeah, I was surprised to see that the girl that she submitted was the previous Invicta Atomweight champion. And I just don't know. I feel like the women's division, like Atomweight, is probably more shallow than like the strawweight or flyweight of the UFC. So that's pretty awesome to be 20 years old and come off with a win.
Yeah, I mean, just to get into the UFC that young, it's like it kind of sets you up. You know what I mean? I think was Sage Northcutt that young when he had his first fight? I think he was too, right?
He wasn't even 21.
Yeah, I don't think he was. So it's like you got people like that. Obviously, Sage is in a different organization now, but when Dana likes you, you notice you get a lot of hype behind you. This girl's only going to get bigger fights. But like Kev said, it kind of depends on where, are they going to throw her with this striker next and kind of ruin her whole career, or are they going to kind of stick with what she's good at and see what she can do there? So excited to see that. I know, Zach, you brought this up. She put up an Instagram post. She actually took a picture with the dude that bet $37K on her, which that's friggin' hilarious, just meeting him at the airport. That takes a lot of balls, putting $37K on some unknown fighter. So good for that dude. I think he won. I think he got paid out like $56,000 or something like that. So good for him. He's living large. Next up on the prelims, which is pretty exciting, an absolutely vicious knockout. Tanner Boser, Felipe Lins. That one had some power behind it. That was a first round knockout. That was like a highlight reel one. He didn't even get a knockout bonus for that, which was insane. What'd you guys think about Tanner Boser's knockout? Because that thing was vicious.
Yeah, I was thinking this one's going to be a little bit more of a competitive fight.
Yep.
Just based off of Lynn's last fight with Arlovsky. I thought he showed pretty good boxing and went the full fight with him. But, there was just a vicious knockout. It was like a 5-punch combo, and then he hit him a few times on the ground as well when he was out. So, yeah, it was pretty brutal.
You see friggin' Herb Dean's grappling skills trying to get him off there. That was impressive. Herbie Dean, kid, I was going nuts. But, Zach, I don't know. What did you think about that?
I missed the next two, actually. I didn't catch them.
Oh, you didn't catch them? That's all good. Don't worry about it. Just prelims, kid. And then we also had, we had Karma Worthy taking on Luis Pena. Karma Worthy, this dude is just coming out of nowhere. He's coming off of he was an underdog in both of those fights. He came in, made a statement in both finishes. He had a knockout in his first fight and then a submission over a dangerous Luis Pena. So this guy is just exciting, man. He gets on the mic. He calls his shot. So this dude, I think he's someone to friggin' watch out for in the lightweight division. So, and let's just get right into the main card. This is where things got fun. I know we had a super exciting, super close fight. Brendan Allen, Kyle Dawkins. That one was real fun. Both of those guys were busted up. Brendan Allen ended up getting a decision for that one. He's a young up-and-comer, someone to watch out for. And then I just want to honestly just get right into the two big fights of the night here. Let's do Mike Perry, Mickey Gall in the co-main event. Mike Perry, obviously a lot of talk during fight week. You know, he's got his girlfriend in his corner. He doesn't even have a fight camp. Like, this man, he gets on the mic. He says some ridiculous things. Taking on Mickey Gall, who, you know, we talked about it last time, is inexperienced, but his ground game is very dangerous. In the end, Mike Perry, a very dominant decision. But what I was very surprised about, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but I feel like roles were kind of reversed where, like, Mickey Gall was kind of winning some of the exchanges at first, and then Mike Perry was winning, you know, most of the grappling. So it was like kind of weird how that worked out. But let's just get right into the co-main event. What did you guys think about Perry versus Gall?
Yeah, I think Perry was just too powerful for him.
Oh my God, the size difference.
Yeah, I mean, Mickey Gall looked good. He looked good at that weight. Like, he looked pretty filled out because he's pretty tall too. But yeah, Perry's shots were just landing way harder, and you could see that throughout the entire fight with the ground and pound, with the striking. Yeah, I think Gall just to add some strength. I think he would have been pretty competitive because they were trading pretty good a little bit there, but his shots weren't landing nearly as hard as Perry's were. And I think that was the difference.
Yeah, I agree. I was surprised that Perry was like taking him down at will, basically.
Yeah.
And then he was beating him up from inside Gall's guard pretty good too. Like, he landed some hard shots. So
yeah,
I was surprised. I thought it would have been, like Dom said, the reverse, but
yeah, no.
Overall, not a bad fight. Some fence grabbing from Mickey Gall, trying to stop some takedowns too.
I saw he did that a few times. Now, do you guys think, like, so, like, I look at that win, obviously pretty dominant win for Mike Perry, who is someone that needed a win badly. Do you think, like, obviously I think he was a minus 370 favorite to win that fight. Was that a fight, like, did you look at that and say, wow, I'm really impressed with Mike Perry now. He's back. He needs a big fight. Or do you think that was like a fight for the UFC to be like, Mike Perry's an exciting guy. We need a win from him. Let's give him Mickey Gall, who's like not really that proven. What do you guys think, like, just in terms of where Mike Perry goes from here, you know?
Yeah, I think it's a huge change in competition for him. Yeah. You know, he's fighting guys like Luque and, you know, all the other fights he's had before that. You know, Mickey Gall ranks, not to, you know, disrespect him, but way below what he's normally competing against, like Cerrone, guys like that. So, yeah, I think it was kind of an odd matchup, but I think Mickey Gall does have some, not star power, but I think he can be kind of a draw because he came into the UFC with the CM Punk win, got the fight after that against Northcutt when he was pretty big in the UFC. And then after that, he's kind of had a rocky road. But I think those two have established him kind of as a bit of a draw in the UFC. So I think from a business standpoint, it might have made sense. But, like, competitive, I don't think this fight made too much sense.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, Mike Perry is just in, like, such a weird situation where he was, like, kind of on, like, a trajectory. You know what I mean? I'm not going to, like, mimic Conor or anything like that, but he was fighting top-tier guys and, like, you know what I mean? And he was getting into wars. Like, that Luque fight was amazing. You know what I mean? Like, that was, his nose was busted up. And people like Mike Perry, and I think I agree. It was, like, such a weird step back in competition because it's like, you know what I mean? You go from fighting, you know, Luque, Donald Cerrone to a guy, Mickey Gall, who has, you know, 4 UFC fights, and it's like no one really any big names other than, you know, CM Punk, and I know he had the Diego Sanchez fight, but so yeah, I think it's interesting what's going to happen with him next, and then we'll just get right into it too. With what did you guys think of the whole just him having his girlfriend in the corner and that was it? Like, I think he made a statement. I think it was like it was pretty impressive what he did. I know he was supposed to win that fight, but like, what'd you guys think about that whole situation?
Why not, dude? Whatever.
Yeah.
He won.
Yeah.
She iced it. All she did was like really just ice him and give him water. I mean, what else did he really need?
Tell him he's doing a good job every friggin' time he throws a punch.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's kind of up to the fighter because seen in interviews before, Perry's kind of complained about that, like where his coaches are screaming at him, like in the middle of a fight, and it just kind of throws him out of his game. But, you know, go back, you know, a few months ago, looking at the Gaethje-Ferguson fight. If Gaethje didn't have his coaches in his corner, that fight could have been completely different. You know, they had to kind of pull him back a little bit. So I guess it depends on the fighter. If, you know, he feels better fighting without his coaches, then, you know, that's what he should do, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I think too. I mean, he made a good point. He's just like, I'm the one in there fighting. He's like, I don't want to listen to anyone but myself. I put in the hard work. Like, I get it. I think he earned like a shit ton of new fans on Saturday night just because of like, obviously he's got the personality. He's pretty brash and shit like that. So I think from there, I think he's going to get a big fight after this just because, you know, he has proven himself and he has some massive knockouts on his record. Obviously, that was a pretty big win when this is the only sport in the world and people kind of, you know, he was doing the crazy interviews all week. So people know who he is now. So it is crazy. But I guess where I see him going next, I do think the Darren Till fight's going to happen. Mm-hmm. But it only happens if Till loses to Whitaker. Because obviously if Till beats Whitaker, he's setting himself up with an absolute massive title fight with whoever wins versus Israel and, you know, Paulo Costa. But I don't know. Do you guys see, like, say Till loses to Whitaker, do you see Till taking that fight, actually having Mike Perry come up to 185 and taking on Till? Do you think that would happen? And if so, what are your predictions?
Yeah, I'd like to see that fight happen, but I was thinking about that with Till moving up to 185. That's such a quick climb for him. Yeah. Go have his first fight against Gastelum, you know, kind of controversial. And then, you know, to get the fight Whitaker, you know, your second fight in the division. But yeah, no, I mean, for him, it'd make more sense if he beats Whitaker, go for the belt.
Go for the belt.
If he loses, then I think a Perry fight would be good for him. But I think I would probably go with Till on that one. Yeah. I think he's so much bigger than just height-wise. He's a lot bigger than Perry. But I don't know. I'd like to see it.
I would too.
I'm going to make that matchup just because of all the trash talk back and forth. Whatever weight, if Till can go back to 170, it doesn't matter. But, you know, the weird thing is, like, Till's fighting. He fought Gastelum, he used to fight at welterweight, and now he's going to fight Whitaker, who, I mean, he was a middleweight champ, but he also used to be a welterweight. Mm-hmm. So he hasn't fought any like gargantuan dudes like Costa or Romero. Yeah. Like some of the guys in 185 are enormous, but a lot of them have come up from 170 too. So it'll be interesting. I can't wait. That's gonna be a sick fight too. The Whitaker Till fight. Oh, what's that? God. Is that next card or 251 or is that later?
That's later.
The fight night, right?
Yeah, that's gonna be a fight night. But it is on Fight Island though. I think it's the card after 251, I'm pretty sure. No, that's the Cater. Cater's after that. What freaking card are they on? Oh, so it's Fight Night 174, July 25th. So it's after the Benavidez, Figueiredo too. So that's, gonna be, there's so many freaking good fights coming up. So perfect. We'll see what happens with Mike Perry next. Obviously, Mickey Gall, I think he's, you know, still in pretty good standing with the UFC. Like Kevin said, I think he's still got a little bit of star power behind him. You know, he's got the ground game that he can submit anyone in the world. So I think we'll see what happens with those two. So obviously, great fight overall. Good for Mike Perry for kind of making a statement in there when his back was against the wall. And then let's just get right into the main event. Dustin Poirier taking on Dan Hooker. Boys, did this deliver or what? This is, I mean, fight of the friggin' year. I think you got Weili and Joanna as it was coming in. Nothing was getting close to it. Gaethje Tony was up there, right? And now you got Dustin Poirier getting a decision win over Dan Hooker in one of the most exciting fights I've ever seen. You had back and forth. You know, as much as that decision was, I believe Poirier did get the unanimous decision. I mean, in that, I think it was the second or the third round, Hooker had, if there was 10 more seconds left on the clock, I think Poirier's finished. I think Hooker finishes Poirier, and we're talking about a new freaking contender here. But obviously, I'll let you guys get into it. What do you think about this fight of the year candidate?
Yeah, I knew it was going to be a good fight. I knew it was going to be a battle. I didn't think it was going to be like that, though. I mean, it was so technical. It was so high paced. There was everything. You know, there's some takedowns, submission attempts. They're both rocking each other, cut each other up. And they didn't slow down for a second throughout that whole entire fight. So it was super exciting. And I think it raises both of their stocks.
Oh, yeah.
Even though Hooker lost the fight, I don't think that sets him back at all in the division. I think that this fight only helps him.
I think it was the end of round 2 that he really had Poirier hurt.
Yeah, too.
And then, I feel like his output dropped as the fight progressed. Like round 3 it definitely went down. Rounds 4 and 5, his like striking output dropped significantly, and then he was shooting for a lot of takedowns. So I don't know if he gassed or what happened, but it was definitely, I thought it was a super close fight. I would have given rounds 1 and 2 to Hooker, and then I gave the last 3 to Poirier. I mean, it was still competitive the whole time, but if he had kept up that pace, Hooker kept that pace up, he definitely would have. I think he would have definitely won the fight, but he could have even gotten the finish.
Yeah, I mean, how tough is? I mean, we obviously all know how tough Poirier is. The guy has fought everyone in the lightweight division, everyone in the featherweight division. I think people forget that Dustin used to be a featherweight and took on Murderer's Row there. You know what I mean? We all know how tough Dustin is. But I think, like Kev said, I think you look at Dan Hooker, I think his stock rise so much. He gained so many new fans. Think about the beating that he took too, but he was also able to give it. Think about the submission attempts that he got out of. You know what I mean? That was, I mean, Poirier had him in that was a tight guillotine. I didn't think he was getting out of that. And then I saw he gets his head out, and I'm like, I know it was pretty late round, so I know like there's blood everywhere, they're sweating, so I know he slipped out of it. But like, I mean, to look at Hooker and not be a fan of that, like afterwards, you're absolutely crazy.
He definitely ate some shots from Poirier too. Got a good chin on him.
Did you see that sequence, the last like 10 seconds of round 2 when he was just unloading on Poirier? He landed, I think, 20 out of 20 shots on Poirier's face. And 10 more seconds, and we're talking about a new contender here. I mean, it was crazy. Both of these guys just like, I mean, like Kevin said, it had everything in it. This was like a true, martial arts fight. I have it over Weili and Joanna right now. I really do. I know it was like, we've never seen a girl fight like that, and that's going to go down in history. But this fight had it all, man. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think it's fight of the year right now?
Yeah, because like you said, there's the Weili versus Joanna fight. That's one. Gaethje Ferguson, this fight, and I think you could even probably throw the Emmett Burgos fight in there. I think that's a 4th. Out of all those, but I would say this is probably the most exciting fight of the year.
Oh, hands down. I mean, you look at it before, and it's one on paper, like you said, Kev. You knew going into it was going to be good, but you didn't think it was going to be like that good. And it obviously just still sets up fights for both of these guys. Next topic. What's next for both of these guys, right? Here's my prediction. I'm just going to say it right now. We need Dan Hooker versus Paul Felder too, because that needs to be resolved, because that was a little controversial. I think that's a friggin' amazing fight to happen again. And then let's do Dustin Toney. Dustin Toney, another fight of the year. Let's just get that, because you know what? I really want to see, I want to see for Toney, let's put him up against an absolutely, another good boxer, someone that's going to brawl with you, and let's see what he can do. Was it the weight cut, or was it Gaethje's that good and he exposed Toney? Like, that's what I want to see next. What do you guys think, or give your own predictions for what happens next to these two guys?
Dude, lightweight is so stacked.
So stacked.
It's unbelievable. I definitely think that Ferguson still, like, after the punishment he took from Gaethje, he should take a longer period of time off. But that worked. Poirier took a lot of damage to this one. So, like, couple months down the road when they both have a break. That'd be a sweet matchup. And then for Hooker, did you guys see Felder talking about how everybody, whoever's beaten him in the UFC, they always lose their next fight?
It's the curse, dude.
Yeah, it's like I was looking through his record. It's true. It's like 5. All of his losses. What is he? Has he lost 5 in the UFC? I think something like that. Barbosa. Is the one that stood out to me. But yeah. So if they do that Ferguson Poirier matchup, just farther down the road, so they both can recover from the fucking blows they took to the head.
Yeah. No, I agree. Kev, I don't know. What do you think? What do you like for the for matchups here?
Yeah, I don't know if I know there was a bunch of fighters. Can you hear the cars out here? I'm gonna shut the windows real quick.
No, I literally can't hear it. But it's all good.
I wasn't sure if it was getting picked up on your end.
93s in your driveway.
What can I say? So I saw that a bunch of the fighters from this card have like 6-month medical suspensions. I don't know if Poirier is one of them. I'm sure Hooker is.
Yeah.
I would think both of them are on that list. So if that's the case, he can't fight for another 6 months. At that point, the Gaethje-Khabib fight will have happened. And I think he's the next one, after that. He's got the win over Gaethje. I think it's a harder sell to get him a rematch with Khabib.
Yeah.
But if Gaethje becomes champ, I think that's a fight everyone would like to see. Them two for the title. But yeah, no, Dustin seems like he wants the belt. There are some fighters that just want to fight the top competition and they don't care about the belt. And there are other fighters that just want the belt. They want those fights that are going to get them there. And I think him fighting Ferguson is such a risky fight. I don't doubt that he would take it, but I think he's in a good position to have the argument to say that I deserve the winner of Khabib Gaethje.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I think, I think the UFC's plans kind of got a little fucked up with Gaethje winning, just because now you got a guy like Poirier who has already beaten the interim champion. And I always look at him like, this guy gets his shot at Khabib. Like, I already beat Gaethje, you know what I mean? But I think, obviously, we all know what Gaethje's capable of. He's an absolute savage. I think you look at a guy like Poirier, dude, he's just like such a good dude outside the octagon too. Like, he's not like a scumbag or anything. Like, he's so nice. He's giving the charities and doing all that stuff. And I agree, he wants the belt, man. And I think, you look at that. I was actually just rewatching the Khabib Poirier, the title fight in Abu Dhabi, and it's like, he had his moments in there. It's just like Khabib is so good, man. Like, it is hard for you to say, hey, you just fought Khabib a fight ago. You're gonna take on the winner now. Like, I agree. I don't think he takes the Tony fight, because I agree. I think that's even riskier for him with the way Tony is and what he does to people. Conor Poirier 2, maybe. I look at that fight, and I was thinking about this the other day. As much as I love Conor McGregor, do you see Conor McGregor having that much heart, that much will to go in a 5-round war like that ever again, with having $100 million in the bank, doing whatever the hell he wants? Like, I just feel like he's not that kind of guy anymore. Like, that Nate 2 fight was a great fight, and where he dug deep, but like, that was before his bank account was bigger than anyone in the fight game. You know what I mean? Do you think after watching that, Conor takes a Poirier 2 fight?
I don't know. I mean, he did retire, which I think is BS.
Of course.
But I don't think that's the fight that he comes back for. I think the Cerrone fight was like a perfect fight for him, where, Cerrone's got a big enough name where, like, even like the casual fans are like, oh, Cerrone, could win this fight. But I don't know. I think Dustin just looks better and better. And the way he looked the other night, I don't know how Conor would deal with that.
Yeah. I don't know, Zach, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't think at this point, I don't even know why they still rank McGregor because he's always you never know if he's actually gonna fight or not. It's like, what the hell? So I don't even think I think the Poirier should either fight Ferguson or just hold out for see if he can fight for the title. What do you get? I was looking at the rankings. What do you get? I always forget that Charles Oliveira just beat the hell out of just beat up Kevin Lee, dude. So imagine if they should do like Oliveira versus Hooker. That'd be a sweet matchup.
Yeah.
Fight.
Yeah, actually, I gotta look at the rankings because
someone that gets forgotten, man. Like Charles, because he's been in the sport so long too, and he's been so close, but he's yet so far away. But I agree.
He's like a monster in his last fight. Oh, imagine him versus Hooker. That'd be a nice matchup.
Yeah, dude, what's the dude's name that completely mauled Pettis in his last fight?
Diego Pereira.
Yeah.
He's another one that looked awesome.
I mean, look at the top 15 in the lightweight division. I mean, there's people you forget about too. You forget that Gregor Gillespie is going to come back eventually, and he's an absolute nightmare matchup for anyone. Drew Dober, who's on an absolute tear right now at number 15. Oh, and then we also forget about friggin' Islam Makhachev, who's an absolute fucking beast too, who we really haven't seen his full potential because, you know what I mean? Obviously, Khabib gets talked about a lot at that division, but you got a guy like Islam who will put your lights out, take your neck, do everything that Khabib does, just at kind of that lower level because we haven't really seen him too much. So,
do they just do a lightweight tourney like they did back in the day?
I have been waiting.
That would be crazy.
I just want Dana to announce that lightweight tourney, just like Bellator does. That and I think bantamweight would be good to do it with because bantamweight and lightweight, definitely the two best divisions in the UFC by far right now.
It's crazy how stacked it is.
Yeah, it is crazy. And then just going back to what you said about like Conor, I agree. I think the reason why I don't think he's retired, they didn't take him out of the rankings. They friggin' pulled Henry Cejudo 24 hours after he retired out of the rankings. So.
Yeah, you want to know another one that I just noticed? That I'm looking at featherweight and lightweight. They don't have Barboza in either.
What?
He's not ranked in either division.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you're right.
So he could go out. Barboza could go out and have a competitive fight, if not knock out anybody in the top 15 at lightweight.
Yeah, I mean he did.
Just wild.
He did lose to Dan Ige, but it's like I had him winning that anyway, so that sucks for him. But Edson's always the guy. He's gonna have big fights. But yeah, I mean, obviously Poirier Hooker. Appreciate you two for putting on an absolute banger of a brawl. Recover soon because we got to see you two back in the octagon. UFCVegas4 was insane. I feel like every weekend the fights are getting better and better. Like this is crazy. We're so goddamn lucky. Like sports are finally starting to come back, but the sport that we love has been going strong since end of April, right? Beginning of May, I believe. I don't know if you guys did hear, but Joe Rogan kind of slipped up on his podcast. I guess they're doing Israel Adesanya versus Paulo Costa. They're going to be the tough coaches for the Ultimate Fighter, which I think that'll be unreal because they're going at it. Their trash talk has been hilarious. Paulo Costa just calls him a skinny bitch, like just every day on Twitter. It's friggin' hilarious. But I guess early predictions because the fight I don't even think has got like announced yet, obviously. But what do you guys see in that fight? Because I think that's a great fight. You got two undefeated. When was the last time we had two undefeated guys in the UFC fight for a belt? You got a guy, Israel Adesanya, who's on Conor McGregor-like path, right? His last fight, I think he definitely lost a lot of credibility with the Yoel fight, but he played it smart. He won. And then you got Paulo Costa, who's undefeated, who's built like a brick shithouse. I mean, what do you guys think about that fight? Early predictions. Who do you got?
Yeah, the only one that you compare it to would be DC John Jones, right? With both of them being well, did Jones have the
He had the one on his record, but he was really undefeated.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's a pretty interesting fight, especially with the way that Adesanya fought Romero in his last one. I'm kind of afraid that Paulo Costa being so big, it basically having the same type physique as Yoel. I don't know if he's going to be afraid of his power and kind of have the same game plan where they're just not really engaging. But I know it's not Costa's style to have boring fights. You know, we saw that with the Romero fight.
Yeah, I agree. I think Costa is such a pressure fighter that he's not going to do what Yoel did and stand in the middle of the octagon. Every single fight, he's been like, think of the Hendricks fight, dude, the Romero, dude, even against Romero, just constant pressure. Even when he was gassed, pushing him up against the fence. I don't think we've seen, like, the closest pressure fighter that we've seen to him would be like Gastelum, as a similar style where he's like, constantly pressuring. So and that was one of the toughest fights that Adesanya had. So I think it's a super interesting matchup because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like the question of, you know, Adesanya's precision versus Costa's power. We've seen Adesanya get hit, especially in that Gastelum fight where he almost, was it the first round he almost got knocked down in? Or second round?
It was the second, yeah.
Almost got knocked down. So his defense isn't 100% perfect. You know, he still gets hit, and especially with a big guy like Costa, it could be dangerous for him. So.
Yeah, and then it's the matter of, are we going to see the Izzy that came out versus Whitaker and just destroy Costa within 2 rounds and not even get hit? Because I mean, to this day, it still blows my mind that he knocked out Whitaker like that. Not once, but twice, because, you know, he did at the bell, and then he came out that next round and finished him. And, like, you know, people say, like, you know, Whitaker was never the same after going friggin' 10 rounds with Yoel, which trust me, I don't blame him. That guy's an absolute monster. But I look at the way that Costa fought Yoel, and I agree with you, Zach. I think Costa's going to come out. I think he's going to pressure Izzy like he's never been pressured before. And I think, you know, we might see a new champ on our hands. But at the same time, if we see the Izzy that, you know, is evasive, is keeping his range, keeping his distance, I don't even think Costa's going to touch him. I think it's going to be a Whitaker all over again. But who knows? It's so early to, like, I'm, like, trying in my brain. Like, that's going to be another, like, it could be fight of the year, or it could be, you know, light work for Izzy. Like, that's what I think. But I think in Costa's, you know, like Kev said, Costa doesn't want any boring fights. He was there at the Yoel Izzy fight, and he was all pissed off. He was like, I would go in there, I'd march him down, I'd make him fight me. So early prediction. I know we're months away. I'm gonna go Costa on this one. I'm just gonna do it. I'm a big Izzy fan. I like Izzy, but I'm gonna go Costa. I think we're gonna see a knockout. What do you guys got? Let me hear it.
Yeah, it's so tough to say. I was just looking up the size difference, because I think that's another thing for Adesanya, is that he's usually the taller and the fighter with the longer reach. And I think that's was huge in his fight against Gastelum and Whitaker, because they both kind of had to hop in to get into range, and they just opened themselves up to you know, some of his counter punching. But yeah, Adesanya's got an 80-inch reach, and Costa has a 72-inch reach.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and Adesanya is 4 inches taller.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so there still is a pretty decent, you know, size advantage for Izzy. I'm gonna go with Izzy.
Izzy,
you think he's counter striking? I mean, he's such a good counter striker, and Costa's such a pressure, so it's not like it's totally a bad matchup for him. It's a hard. I don't know. I'm not gonna make a pick yet.
I know it's tough. It's so far away, and, like, obviously things are gonna happen, especially if they actually are Ultimate Fighter coaches. They're gonna get in each other's heads, and, like, it's gonna be awesome. So I can't wait for that. Like, I mean, we talk about this there's so many good fights. Like, I know UFC just announced literally a shit ton last week. I know we got, I mean, just coming up within the next couple weeks. We take a week off from fights. July 11th, we have probably the most stacked card in the history of the UFC. Kamaru Usman taking on Gilbert Burns for the welterweight strap. Alexander Volkanovski versus Max Holloway 2 for the featherweight strap. Incredible. Bantamweight strap, we got Peter Yan taking on Jose Aldo. And then, you're like, oh, 3 title fights, that's it. Oh, and then we got Jessica Andrade taking on Rose Namajunas 2. That's going to be – those fights are insane. Paige Van Zandt is back. The whole main card is absolutely stacked. I mean, even if you look at the – some of the prelims for UFC 251, I mean, we got Volkan Ozdemir, who fought for the belt not too long ago on the friggin' prelim card. It's insane. After that, UFC 172, July 15th, we got our boy Calvin Kattar taking on Dan Ige. And in the co-main of that, we have Frankie Edgar taking on Pedro Munoz. Like, that's a ridiculous, just back-to-back weekends of fights. The weekend after that, the rematch, Joseph Benavidez taking on Davison Figueiredo. Jack Hermanson, Gastelum in the co-main event. I mean, we can't ask for much more. And then we got Whitaker Till, Fight Island. It just goes on. And then we got Kevin's favorite, August 1st. We got Holly Holm taking on Irene Aldana. So we got that ended off there. But just so many good fights, boys. I'm so excited. I'm glad. Yeah, I'm excited about Fight Island. Did you guys see Dana drop that picture? I mean, we're talking legit Fight Island. I did not expect it to look like that. What do you guys think about, like, the octagon outside and shit?
Yeah, I've been listening. Well, I heard some stuff before about another fight organization where they had kind of the same setup that he's doing. It's like setting up an octagon on the beach. And I guess they had a ton of problems, especially with the canvas getting so hot and, like, the cage getting hot.
I didn't even think of that.
I don't know if they're gonna have like a tent over it or something, but
I think that that's just like a training spot. They're gonna do the actual fights in the arena. They've had a fight there before, so they're gonna do the actual fights in the arena. But so I think that beach picture is just them setting up like a practice cage for the fighters on the island.
Yeah, I didn't know, because people were saying where Khabib fought Poirier. Is that where it's going to be? Because that was in Abu Dhabi.
I think that's what it is. Because I was looking, in like the arena can seat like 18,000 people or something. Maybe my numbers are off, but it's going to be in the arena. But that, for the exact reason you mentioned, Kevin, that like the canvas and stuff and the outside gets too hot. Like, it's just I think that thing's a training thing. Either way, dude, they're having a bunch of fighters live on the island. Awesome. And they're going to send them in the arena to go fight. It's pretty wild. Regardless of the beach or not, right?
Dana is literally the GOAT. He posted like his thing on his story the other day, on his Instagram story. He was like, goodbye heaven. And it was like probably his rented house, wherever he was. And then he puts back to reality. And it's like his 50,000 square foot house on the water. It's like even better than before. He's just such a G, man. I freaking love him. He continues to put on these great fights during this quarantine period. So hats off to him. We got a week off from fighting, but we got UFC 251 coming up in 2 weeks, and I'm super stoked. Boys, we got anything else you want to discuss?
No, that was it.
Until next time, Flatline MMA. Peace.